What's up, Star Trek fans? So this week, we're getting ready for episode 7 tonight. It's going to be sexy. I'm staying up. Are you staying up? If you're in the East Coast, it's 3 a.m., man. But if you're on the West Coast, 12, it's a little bit more tolerable. So in one of the trailers, we see the sort of hovering head face talking to Vadic about, some things. We need the boy. We need him now. There's a lot of similarities between Vadic's conversation with the mystery face and the Fifth Element, where Zorg is talking to Mr. Shadow or whatever. It's very reminiscent of it. Somebody did a comparison video the other day, and it's very reminiscent of it. I love it, by the way. It's very interesting. Vadic is a little more scared and sort of like reserved, not confident at all. We've seen it since the beginning when talking to this sort of Mr. Shadow like bad guy, whatever he is or she or he or what they or whatever this we don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. We've sort of I don't know who he is. I mean, he's a face, he's talking. We've made many guesses over the last few weeks. Since we first saw the face and over the past weeks as things keep continuing to progress. I know that I had mentioned something about the Remans. We've had people mention Armus. I mentioned Armus right from the beginning because I thought it'd be funny. But it's probably something better, but I just can't think of what it is. But the Remans make sense with the Reman knife that we see, but you've seen all my predictions on who I think it is, But interesting scene. I like the scenes with the face. Kind of, he's mentioning there that it's like, there's something different about these changelings and stuff. And so I think we're going to maybe get more answers about that. And that's been something that some people have been complaining about. But obviously, there's something different about the changelings. So it's been...
Took my family. Now I will take yours.
We also got another trailer here.
Weapons ready. Spread chaos.
So there's we see 7 on the bridge.
Lore, we need your help. Why would I help you, Picard?
So they show looks like Lore is going to be a big part of this episode tonight. We're going to get Lore, maybe the body of Data, whatever Data lore before is going to kind of turn into only lore, or for a little while it's going to be lore, and so there's going to be a problem there. It looks like Vadic is going to, get on the ship, I guess.
We need your help. Why would I help you, Picard? Damn it, Lord! Engaging fighter.
I warned you it would end this way.
That stuff looks pretty awesome, man. Like, Vadic is going to, it looks like Vadic's going to end up on the Titan. They're firing away at, a changeling. Is that Vadic? Is that somebody else? Is it just a random changeling on the bridge or on the Titan, rather? I don't know. So it looks like the Titan might be under siege here in some way. And then we've got Lord free or loose or whatever he's doing. I think they've got him contained in this other room, though. Right? Or is he free of something and now he's coming out? I don't know. But so this looks like it could be a fun episode. And last week's episode 6 was probably, it's been said that it's been a lot of people's favorite episode last week. And I think last week was the episode for a lot of people that were on the fence. Last week's episode was the episode that they went, okay, I am actually in now. And it's weird because I think some people were in after episode 1. Some people were really in after episode 2. And then it really took until episode 4 for a lot of people to finally go, all right, something's different on this show now. Terry Matalas has done something different. And I think for sure some of the people that were swaying back and forth on hating and loving things and whatever, I think episode 6 seemed to solidify it for a lot of people. So that's really cool, man. It's good to be here with you guys on Star Trek Late Night. I'm glad you subscribed. If you did, please leave your comments with what you think about the season so far, what you think is going to happen tonight on this episode. I mean, I've been watching Star Trek now. It's hard to believe since like the late 80s. And I've gone over my credentials of how I feel about lots of Trek, but I'll do it again and I'll do it more and more videos. It's been hard for me to make a ton of videos because I'm working several jobs right now. I'm kind of in a tough spot. And my main YouTube channel where I make a chunk of my income comes from my big main YouTube channel. I have a strike on it and I can't go live for a week. I can't even make a video for a week on my 72,000 subscriber channel. And it's a pro wrestling channel, believe it or not, Joe Cronin Show. And it's WrestleMania week, which is like the biggest week of the year for me. Usually thousands and thousands of views and subscribers, and there's just crazy stuff. So I've had to work double time at my shoot job, my regular job, and that's really sucked. And I've been doing all kinds of stuff. I've been, I've been writing this. I've been writing like little goofy fan fiction Star Trek for a long time, and I'm going to be releasing those chapters of this of sort of like a podcast or a audio book type of fan fiction Star Trek here. So people want to check that out, they can. It's kind of silly. I've always done it, but I made a trailer for it earlier that was like almost like if J.J. Abrams and Galaxy Quest like had a baby, and the trailer was ridiculously over the top. And so I put that up for people to just kind of laugh at earlier. So hopefully you got a kick out of that. But I will be uploading the sort of episodes on here if you want something to sort of listen to and see how it goes. Because I think some people might like it, some people maybe not, but I don't know. Very pumped for tonight's episode. Very pumped to talk about it tomorrow. And I hope you guys are looking for my review when I put it up to see how it goes. And so far, on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like this season, it's weird because I feel like this season is so much better than the previous seasons that I'm like, for a Picard season, this is like an 8 or 8.5 out of 10 for Picard right now. You know what I mean? And there's a potential it could go higher than that, depending on how much better the episodes get, right? So I'm at like an 8 or an 8.5 for Picard. And I always gave the Star Trek The Next Generation movies like 7.5s and 8s, Obviously, I believe that Star Trek The Next Generation as a TV show was like a perfect 9 or 10 out of 10. I love that show, and it's only gotten better over the years for me. So I love Star Trek The Next Generation. I just love it so much. We watch it every night, me and my wife. And so the movies, though, I always felt were kind of like somewhere between a 7 and an 8 out of 10. They were subpar for TNG, the show, but they were supposed to be movies, so they had to be a little bit crazier. They had to have a little bit more conflict. They had to be a little bit more out of character. And I think that if this show can be like a 10-hour movie and it can be a 7 or an 8, I always said that's a huge win. That is a massive win. If this show, I said this, if this show was a 6.5 or a 7 or above, I would buy it on Blu-ray because it's important to me to have that TNG lineage, and I'll put it right next to Star Trek Nemesis. So I've got TNG, the Blu-ray set of the whole series, and then I've got all the movies, all the Star Trek movies. And I would gladly love to put this, as if it were a movie, right there, next to Nemesis. And that is looking like it's going to be the case, obviously, because I'm at an 8 right now, or an 8.5. And we'll see if it gets better. And it might. But one thing I'll say is, again, I've really enjoyed the season. And it is a shame if it ends. I just hope, based on what I've seen here, unless the last couple episodes go to hell, which I don't think they will. I don't think the last episodes will go to hell. In fact, I think that, from what I understand, so many people have seen all 10 episodes, right? And so many people have been spot on with all the things that they've said that I can surmise, I can imagine that based on what people said about episodes 9 and 10 and 8, 9, and 10, and especially the 8, 9, and 10, that like we're going to be potentially creaming ourselves at the end of this. And if that's the case, like Robert Meyer Burnett and so many other people have said, are you ready for this? Like, are you ready? And please, for the love of God, let Terry Matalas be in charge of more Star Trek. I don't care what Star Trek it is. It'd be great to get more of this crew. You could certainly do more of this timeline. And listen, I don't love serialized stuff. I don't like it. I like individual stories. I think that Strange New Worlds has been okay. I think I'm at about a 6.5 out of 10 for Strange New Worlds. I'm at about a 3 for Discovery. So I'll take a 6.5 out of 10 Strange New Worlds. It's not the greatest thing, but Picard Season 3 is somehow better than Strange New Worlds, after Picard Seasons 1 and 2 was way worse. So I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated to see what happens next. And I don't want a serialized story really anymore, but if Terry Matalas were to continue, with Strange New Worlds being episodic, will they put 2 episodic TV shows on the air? I would hope they would. I don't know if Terry Matalas would want to do episodic. I'm not a big fan of serialized stuff, but Terry Matalas is good at serialized stuff. So maybe he would still do serialized Star Trek, and he doesn't. I would think he likes episodic. But would they do both? Why not? Somebody said recently, I was listening to a review, they said it would hurt Strange New Worlds. No, it wouldn't. It would just help Star Trek, because that's what people seemingly want, is episodic. So do episodic. I wouldn't be opposed to small little movies too. You know what I mean? Like a Worf special and a Beverly special and that sort of thing. But I would rather mini stories, like mini movies almost. Like, I think it would be cool if they did a few 4-hour stories or a few 3-hour stories where they released 1 hour, every week in a 3-part movie or series or made for streaming movie event or whatever you want to say. I would love that. We don't know what we're going to get in this series, so I don't know where to go with names and people, but depending on who we see return and what happens, I would start calling out based on that potentially. And it would be nice to see something. A lot of things. I want to see Admiral Archer for 3 to 5 episodes of something. I want to see, Janeway for that same thing. Why not do these little mini stories? And the other thing about those mini stories, if they were to pay Terry Matalas and his team to write these or come up with these in some small way, you can use those as also feelers and see how the audience reacts to them. And if one of them explodes and a few of them do really, really well, potentially you could keep doing them, but also you could literally be like, okay, you know what? People exploded for the episode, the Janeway thing we did. Let's do a series. I don't know. And you can use that to gauge the audience. I think there's a lot of things you can do. I don't really like the short treks that much because, wasn't that the one where they did the tribbles and that lady was like, he was an idiot, and it was just stupid. So I don't know, man. I like the idea of those short treks, like doing 15-minute little episode or something. But the ones they did, I just found them to be cringy, most of them. Some of them were all right. A couple of them were all right. But I would rather little mini-series, like they did with Obi-Wan on Disney+. Do that with Trek maybe. But I would like to see a series set in this time period. And I want Terry Matalas to be in charge of it. Just Terry Matalas' work on this show has made people flock to go watch 12 Monkeys. Like 12 Monkeys has gained a massively new audience because these people were like, damn, this guy's great. I'm going to go watch what else he does. It's pretty crazy. And so therefore, if he does something else, there's going to be a massive audience for it because of the dedication to it, similar to Strange New Worlds. And people flocking to that because of Anson Mount. It's really because of Anson Mount, you know? So I think a lot of people, it worked out for a lot of people. Akiva got to do the show he wanted to do. Anson Mount, you know, got basically his charisma launched a whole series. And you could see the same thing with Terry Matalas and more of Star Trek Legacy, as he calls it. Go on Twitter and hashtag that. Sign the petition for Terry Matalas to keep doing Star Trek. Go on Twitter, do the hashtag Star Trek Legacy. Star Trek Picard, tweet it everywhere. Tell Paramount, tell friggin' Kurtzman, tell everybody. You know what I mean? And just explode it on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, get on Twitter. Just do that only. Because if you love this, you have to push and fight and tell everybody about how good it is. If you like it. If you like it, you got to go crazy talking about it to make enough noise to get them to put Terry back on the books again because damn, it's good. God damn it, do I love this stuff compared to what we got before. Now, my opinion, I had an idea to literally just bring back Star Trek. If you guys remember this, a month ago or 2 months ago, I was like, you know what, dude, I would just bring back old Star Trek. I would just literally do, like, I would upgrade it slightly. But I would actually try to sort of do a show that took place during The Next Generation and Voyager. Like around that time, and I would do the sets almost the same with a little bit of an upgrade. And that's sort of what we're getting now with Star Trek currently here in this time period. But it's just, I don't know. I wish that they could sort of go back and just do that. That's, people like that so much. And so many people rewatch those, like Deep Space Nine, Voyager, The Next Generation, that if you made a new show with the aesthetics, with a slightly upgraded aesthetics that's set in that time period exactly almost, I think you would have a massive audience for that because people already do like that and they constantly rewatch all those shows. So if you tried to emulate that now and do something classic, I think it would be kind of a hit. Especially if you tried to do it that way. Quite honestly, I would bring in Brandon Braga. Or Braga? How do you say his name? I always say his name wrong. And if Terry Matalas wasn't in charge of it, I'd bring in Brandon. And I'd bring in maybe a couple other writers from back in the day. And I'd be like, let's go. We're going to do a show that's set right after Nemesis. And it's going to have that classic look. And it's one season. And it's going to be about whatever. It's going to be about another starship, you know? I think that would be interesting to just do that sort of classic Star Trek and give it the classic look. I can't believe the sets would be too much. I think the show would save you money, right? Trying to actually dumbing it down. I would dumb it down. Because you'd want to keep the aesthetics of the time period because you're shooting that time period. Therefore, people can watch it in a chronological order and the aesthetics will actually match up with the aesthetics of the time period. That way you can keep it lower budget. You can hire a smaller effects team. I don't know, bro. You can really lower the budget and do something that might be kind of a hit for a lot of people. You know what I mean? It potentially could do as many viewers or more as Strange New Worlds. And meanwhile, you could have Terry Matalas doing a serialized current Star Trek that's set in this Picard Season 3 time period. So those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? I will catch you guys later. Enjoy Episode 7 of Star Trek Picard Season 3. And while you guys are waiting there, enjoy my my little audio teaser to hold you over with some silliness. If you made it this far, you can stick around for this little bit of a tease here, I guess. Here you go. We'll see you guys after for the review of episode 7. The bridge was dim and dark, with only a few flashing emergency lights. The sounds of swinging cables, wires, and broken equipment rattled, adding to the hopeless atmosphere, which was in this grim state as a result of a lost engagement with an unknown enemy.
Captain? Hello?
A shaking and slowly moving Ensign Alice Jordan used the base of a slanted and broken chair to pull herself up, visibly injured, with open wounds, her face covered with crimson red blood which was leaking down her neck, staining her torn Starfleet uniform.
Bridge to sickbay.
There was no answer.
Where is everybody?
She said out loud.
Bridge to engineering. She paused.
Interrupted by pain, she repeated again.
Bridge to engineering. Bridge to sickbay.
No answer.
Computer, what's the status of life support? Computer?
The computer's offline, she said. She took a deep breath and stared at the control panel to her left. It was malfunctioning, but did display some helpful information. There were only 2 hours of life support remaining, at least from when that number on the control panel had last glitched, and Shuttle Bay 2 had apparently launched a shuttlecraft. Life signs on the ship showed 2, and 1 was fading. The panel showed the second life sign was faint and emanating from engineering, but Alice frantically checked the lifeless bodies of the bridge crew, going body to body with an emergency medical tricorder. She shined her emergency light around to take one last look before heading to the faint life sign in engineering.
Do you see that?
Lieutenant Brad Cooper slapped the back shoulder of Ensign Haywood. Someone's moving around on the bridge.
Where?
I don't see it. The light had faded away, and the 2 men stared longingly at the helpless floating ship.
I'm telling you, I saw something.
The ship is a wreck, Coop. It could have been a light source from a panel, an explosion. Check sensors. I don't read any life support signs, but honestly, we're too far away, and this system is still malfunctioning. We're flying blind here. Maybe we should stay with the ship, just in case.
No.
Mirren 5 is far enough away, we're barely going to make it there as it is. Staying here any longer could cost us our lives.
I swear I saw something.
You really think taking 30 minutes to go back and take a closer look?
Coop, we're not going. We're not going back.
They'll have to land on a planet that is heavily populated, but has not developed warp capabilities yet.
We can't go there. It's against the Prime Directive. If we don't, we're dead. Sir, I'm picking up a ship. We're going down!
We must vaporize ourselves, so we're not discovered by the inhabitants of this planet.
Are you serious? I think I know why we were targeted. The same ship that attacked us has infiltrated this society.
We were on this planet for millennia before this species infested it.
It's going to take Starfleet weeks to figure out where we are.
We have to try to stop them.
You don't understand what you've done.
What good's the Prime Directive if these people are dead?